Club at Shadow Lakes, fine dining and a great place to hold any kind of event you could ever imagine. I love what they do here. And I noticed that you and your significant other, Patty Royal, actually shooting this, as I mentioned earlier. We're having a little delicious dessert earlier and some food. Tell me about how important it is when it comes to the business of not just a restaurant, but what you do, putting cameras up and hopefully a lot of places that manufacture product. When you have a successful infrastructure, meaning such as steel, it really does pay big dividends across the board.
Oh, yes, it does. In my job alone, everything that I use is made of steel or aluminum or some type of metal like that. So yeah, my prices will come up a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine. A little bit. I heard some statistics the other day. A can of soup, it costs 3 cents to make that steel can for the soup. You bump that up 25%. You almost have 4 pennies now that you're paying instead of 3 pennies. So
we can live with that.
I'm fine with that. With the case of beer, it's going to be another 25 cents. I'm fine with that. So nonetheless, I support this 25% hike in the steel. I support the 10% hike in the aluminum. And if it means more jobs, you remember as well as I do when B&W was thriving, J&L was thriving.
I do.
Can you imagine that happening today? Happening next year? I'm listening to the Trump signing today, and he had the steel workers from across the country in the office, and they had each one come up and talk, and they talked about how their business is going to start thriving, how they're looking to invest another $100 million, add another 300 employees to their job or to their manufacturer. I could not imagine what it would be like if we were back in the 80s and today with just this area right here with J&L and B&W.
David Pratte, who's the new president and CEO of U.S. Steel, talking on CNBC, and I blogged about it earlier today. Grant City, Illinois, they're actually firing up one of their blast furnaces that have been idle for 2 years, and that means 500 jobs. But he was talking about they actually harvest coal from Appalachia, so this means a whole lot of other jobs on top of that. And when you look at it, and Jim Roddy and I were talking about it last night, one job kind of equals 4 jobs. But just that ability to say we're open for business again and 500 jobs in a community that obviously has really suffered, that's a big story.
That's huge. Remember back then, and I went to Quigley Catholic High School. The steel mills started going out of business. Parents just couldn't afford the Catholic education that we received back then. So the schools started getting smaller to where we are today. They're dwindling away. They're having to consolidate, like Bishop Whirl did out there near Cranberry. So just to be able to create a thriving economy in this area through that simple gesture that he did, it's phenomenal.
25% on foreign imports of steel, 10% on aluminum, and earlier today some good news when Wall Street showed some favor towards this. He has decided to give exceptions to Mexico and Canada, which is going to make it good deals for people that are good to us and have been good at trading with us. But those who haven't are going to have to pay a price. And if they want to become a part of who we are, and we're going to talk about all of this tomorrow, jobs first, jobs last. That's what we're entitling the Mike Pintek Show tomorrow, noon to 3 on KDK Radio. They're going to have to step up, and maybe even step up by coming and building a plant in America. President Trump, the final minute, your thoughts of a guy who's been supporting him since day one.
I love to see a businessman in office. We haven't had that, I'd like to say, in a long time, but I don't know that we've had that, period. But we have a true businessman, a successful businessman running the United States like a business. And we need that. We lacked that. We have a $600 billion trade deficit with China. China's imposing a 25% tax on every vehicle that we send into China. We're imposing a 2.5% tax for every vehicle they send over to the United States. That's not fair. That's not fair. So when we get things back in balance, we get the NAFTA agreement sorted out, and I think this 25%/10% is really going to help. Canada's woken up. Mexico's woken up. So I think we're on the track.
Not only does he have those cameras in the sky to keep your business and family safe, he's also got his eye on America. And I think it's a pretty good eye, and he has a good idea of what we all need in this country. Jobs first, jobs last. John Hudson, Security Consulting Solutions, Inc. That'll do it for tonight. See you tomorrow morning on the radio, noon to 3, for Mike Pintek at KDKA Radio. Good night.